Good morning, Doc Marmelo. Good morning, classmates. I am Mirasol Espiritu, who was assigned to discuss the Chapter 12, the Economic Development Professional as Leader. Okay, so let's start with our learning objectives. First is to identify, understand, and apply contemporary theories of leadership to a wide range of situations and interactions. Second, develop and articulate a personal philosophy of leadership. Third, learn to effectively lead others on a project or in an organization. And fourth is to show a record of leadership experiences in preparation for future leadership opportunities. Leader versus manager. I used to think that running an organization was equivalent to conducting a symphony orchestra, but I don't think that's quite it. It's more like jazz. There is more improvisation by Warren Bennis. Because according to him, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Both leading and managing are crucial to the success of an effective organization. In fact, one must manage effectively in order to be able to lead. So, in our knowledge-based economy, the focus in increasingly of the knowledge of the people in the organization, so this is makes it more difficult to separate management and leadership. And as a leader, we're not just going to assign a task to our team, but we are the accountable to define its purpose. For example, why are they being asked to do what they do? So managers also have to organize the staff, not just to improve efficiency, but also to nurture their skills, develop their talent, and to inspire them. Now let's talk about difference between leadership and management. Of course, there is a big difference between leadership and management, which is often overlooked. Is that leadership always involves leading a group of people, whereas management need only be concerned with responsibility for the operation of the organization. So let's talk about the meaning. What is leadership? It is the ability of an individual or a group of individuals to influence and guide followers or other members of an organization. The word leadership can bring to mind a variety of images. For example, a political leader, which is very common now. Many are having arguments on how our political that we are encountered today. So they may pursuing a passionate or personal cause. There is an explorer or cutting a path through the jungle for the rest of his group to follow. So there is also an executive in an organization where they develop company strategy to beat the competition. So Stephen Covey is quoted as saying that leadership focuses on doing the right things. Management focuses on doing things right. Leaders help themselves and others to do the right things. They set direction, build an inspiring vision, and create something new. Leadership is about mapping out where you need to go to win as a team or an organization, and it is dynamic. It is exciting and inspiring. And yet, while the leaders set the direction, they must also use management skills to guide their people to the right destination in a smooth and efficient efficient way. How about management? Management is a purposive activity. It is something that directs group efforts towards the attainment of certain predetermined goals. So according to Harold Kuntz, management is an art of getting things done through and with the people in formally organized groups. It is an art of creating an environment in which people can perform and individuals and can cooperate towards attainment of group goals. So it is the process of working with and through others to effectively achieve the goals of the organization by efficiently using limited resources in changing the world, the process, the system of the organization. Of course, these goals may vary from one enterprise to another. And many management roles have major people management responsibilities. However, the fact that management focuses on the systems and the structure of the organization, leadership definitely always includes focuses on its people. So this have a big difference between these two concepts about the management and leadership. Management is execution, while leadership is inspiration, as assessed by John Baldoni. Management, of course, involves making the organizational processes work in harmony, like for their planning, their budgeting, assigning work, hiring staff, measuring performance, and making decisions. This all helps an organization to accomplish what is expected of it and to do so predictably. So this is very difficult task, as any manager can attest in any size of the organization. So management is crucial, but it's not leadership. A manager who doesn't understand effective leadership will tend to be traditional and authoritarian, which also leads to overmanaging and focus on control. While on the other hand, leadership is possible only when the organization is managed well enough so that people can look beyond the frustration of their daily routine and start to think about how they can make a difference. So this will refer on how leadership becomes an inspiration. So the most important fundamental that overlap between this leadership and management is that good leadership always includes responsibility for managing, and lots of the managing duties may be delegated to others, but the leader is the one responsible for ensuring that appropriate and effective management exists for the situation or for the group concerned. And as per John Baldoni, we need to put people first. That's the number one thing we can do as a leader to build the strength of the organization. And it is a powerful concept, and every leader has should should has the power to do it. Now let's talk about distinctions between managers and leaders by Warren Bennis. Number one, the manager administers while the leader innovates. The manager is a copy while the leader is an original. The manager focuses on systems and structure while the leader focuses on people. The manager relies on control. The leader inspires trust. The manager has a short-range view, while the leader has a long-range perspective. The manager asks how and when, and the leader asks what and why. The manager has his eye always on the bottom line, and the leader has his eye on the horizon. The manager imitates, while the leader originates. The manager accepts the status quo, while the leader challenges it. The manager does things right, and the leader does the right things. So, management usually aims at consistency and order, whereas leadership aims at movement and change. Leaders see the future as something to create, while traditional managers see it as something to react. And both management and leadership are needed in the life of healthy organizations. We must note that management alone will not bring about the substantive change that is needed in most of today's organizations. Now let's talk about management versus leadership. There are differences in responsibilities. In management, there are the one who implementing tactical actions, do the detailed budgeting, measuring and reporting performance, applying rules and policies, implementing disciplinary rules, organizing people and tasks within the organization, recruiting people for jobs, checking and managing ethics and morals, developing people, problem solving, planning, improving productivity and efficiency, motivating and encouraging others, and delegating and training. While for the leadership, they are the one creating new visions and goals, establishing organizational financial targets, deciding what needs measuring and reporting, making new rules and policies, making disciplinary rules, deciding structures, hierarchies, and work groups, creating new job roles, establishing ethical and moral positions, developing the organization, problem anticipation, visualizing and visioning, conceiving new opportunities, inspiring and empowering others, and planning and organizing succession. So leadership and management are often considered to have overlapping functions. So as we notice, so both imply a unique set of functions, characteristics, and skills that share similarities. However, they show prominent differences in some circumstances. For example, some managers do not practice leadership while others lead without a managerial role. And to summarize there is this responsibilities between management and leadership. A manager is generally someone who is selected or appointed within an organization. In most cases, a manager is selected based on specific technical skills, knowledge, and expertise. And on the contrary, the greatest leadership skill is to influence and inspire people. Leadership and accountability. Leaders in an organization must assume responsibility for the performance of the people for whom they have responsibility. This means that leaders need to monitor their people's progress, how to give them and should give them direction and hold them accountable. And as a leader, it's crucial to implement, of course, accountability, the alignment, and focus throughout your team in order to foster team success. So the value of empowering employees includes the following. First, because management cannot see everything that is going on in the organization, they need help and lots of it. Because even if management could see everything, they would not have enough time to fix everything on their own. And last, because we are wasting valuable experience and intelligence if we don't leverage the knowledge and creativity of the organization's most important resource, which is its people. So for leaders to be accountable, they need to be committed to the business and its people. They must take their role as people leaders seriously, building trust among team members, and accountable leaders should clearly communicate their goals and objectives and the key results to their teams to foster alignment and team focus. They should accept responsibility when things go wrong, and they should also give credit for the success of others or for the team. Accountability. This is the key to effective empowerment, which is all about getting the results you want while working toward the results the organization needs and wants. So in order to hold someone accountable, certain conditions have to be met, including understanding and agreeing on expectations, training to do the job, follow-up and assessment of performance, ongoing feedback, and consequences. So accountable leaders set a good example of leadership in the service of the company and the workforce. So in team meetings, for example, leaders and team members walk the fine line of holding each other accountable without constantly transferring the blame for each of one. So accountability team building creates a model for good leadership. They should be the ones set clear standards and empowers teams to move past failures to find a better solutions. Next, let's talk about facilitator and consensus builder. The ability of an economic development professional to function effectively within the organization depends to a great degree on how well the professional style of leadership can be merged with the expectations of existing leaders of that organization as well as those of the large community. Ideally, the expectations of both parties should be compatible, if not identical. The economic development professional plays a crucial leadership role in developing local consensus or agreement regarding the goals and outcomes of the economic development program. In the implementation stage, the economic developer serves as the catalyst to the program and must demonstrate strong management skills to ensure that the program is carried out as cost-effectively as possible. Executive, of course, their leadership should values communication and they should know how to listen. That is essential to consensus building and also some leadership development programs. And building consensus among varied stakeholders create a sense of cohesiveness and collaborative spirit, which are these are both important for acting on the decisions that have been made. So their process itself attempts to understand their different perspectives and everyone in the organization should feel that they had their say and they are also being heard. The practitioner as educator. Educating local leaders is only one aspect of the need for the economic development organization to foster learning. In fact, The organization that is likely to be successful in the future might be called the learning organization. In learning organizations, leaders are responsible for building organizations where people continually expand their capabilities to understand complexity, clarify vision, that is, they are responsible for learning. And of course, when an organization shares a genuine vision and people, of course, will excel and learn. So this is not because they are told to, but because they want to. So the organization leader or executive director should take on the responsibility for designing the learning process, maintaining the process over time, and leading people through that process. The economic developer as community leader. To predict if the economic developer will be given the opportunity to become an accepted leader in the community is by advocating that he or she be a voting member of the board of directors and or its executive committee. And it is sometimes difficult for the board of directors of the organization to determine whether the practitioner should assume the role as CEO of the organization as opposed to the chief operating officer or the COO. So this is an important distinction. So often the representatives expanding or relocating companies prefer to deal, of course, with the CEO, knowing that such a title should represent ultimate responsibility and authority. The economic development professional should involve the community leadership in the economic development process and should be a catalyst for action. Probably, the most valuable duty that the economic developer has to perform is to discover, inspire, stimulate, develop, and train voluntary leaders to become more effectively engaged in the local economic development process. So regardless of whether the economic developer is CEO or not, it should be very clear as to which person within the organization is the spokesperson for the group and its programs. So many times it is appropriate for the professional to assume this position, but it is often much more effective in the long term to have key volunteer leaders to perform this function. According to Frances Hesselbein, the leader for today and the future will be focused on how to develop quality, character, mindset, values, people, principles, and courage. So, of course, effective leadership is also less about learning techniques and more about building character. And you, we, as a strong leaders, will be visionary with the belief that they can and we should be shaping the future. And how you will act on those beliefs, you should also, as a leader, show by walking the talk, meaning not just showing the real or just saying what should be done, just saying the functions of the employees, but you should, as a leader, you should do the action. So it's important the term which is by Frances Hasselbein, so walking the talk. And that's all for chapter 12, and thank you.